Where's President Putin? Now, I know Iran has a relationship with China, but that's more transactional. China just likes to buy Iran's cheap oil. With Russia and Iran, it was supposed to be a deeper, more meaningful relationship. And this isn't something new. It's been a partnership for decades. And then Assad got in trouble. And that's when he really needed Russia. And he went to Mr. Putin and said, help me, help me. And Mr. Putin said, no, your own.
When allies are in crisis, true friendships are put to the test. But as Iran faces mounting pressure in the Middle East, one question echoes across the global stage. Where is Russia? Where is President Putin? For decades, Russia and Iran have stood together, exchanging weapons, backing each other in wars, and opposing the West. However, now that Iran needs help the most, Russia is absent.
Mr. President, where is Russia? Where is President Putin? I asked that question in light of what's been happening over the past week in Iran. Where's Russia? Where's President Putin? You couldn't find either one of them with a search party. Dog the Bounty Hunter all of a sudden couldn't find President Putin. All of a sudden, even Google can't find Russia. I thought Iran and Russia were peeps. I thought they were best friends. I mean, for decades, Iran and Russia have had a partnership where they have attacked everyone in the freedom-loving West. They're best buds. Now, I know Iran has a relationship with China, but that's more transactional. China just likes to buy Iran's cheap oil. With Russia and Iran, it was supposed to be a deeper, more meaningful relationship. And this isn't something new. It's been a partnership for decades. I remember when Putin invaded Ukraine, one of the first allies he turned to was Iran. And Iran sent Russia ammunition. And Iran sent Russia artillery shells. And Iran sent Russia drones. And Iran has sent Russia drones and ammunition and artillery shells every single day of the war. So where's Russia? I mean, it hadn't been a good week for Iran. Where's Russia? On Monday of this week, Iran's top diplomat met with President Putin and asked for help. You know what President Putin said he would provide? Nothing. Zero. Zilch. Nada. Some kind of friend. And you know, it's not the first time that we've seen President Putin's true colors. It's happened before. You would think that Iran would learn. The month after Iran, through Hamas, attacked Israel back in October of 2023, Iran immediately asked Moscow to supply Iran with, because Iran knew what was coming, and so did Hamas. They knew retribution was coming from Israel. Iran asked Moscow for jet fighters, for attack helicopters, air defense systems, and training jets. And Iran was sure that their buddy Putin would be there. Putin sent them a few jets and said, "Go away, don't bother me." And then, not long ago, when Israel took out the better part of Iran's air defense system, its Golden Dome, wasn't exactly golden, it was more like tin, but the Israelis took it out. Iran asked Russia, said, "Look, we have to rearm. We're naked and alone here. We need more air defense missiles to shoot down their Israeli planes." President Putin said, "Go away. Don't bother me." What a friend. President Putin has done it to other countries. Russia has had alliances not just with Iran through the years. I'll give you a couple of examples. Armenia and Russia were best buds. Two peas in a pod. But when Armenia got in a war with Azerbaijan, let me say that again, Azerbaijan, once again, you couldn't find Russia with a search party. Iran and Russia worked together to prop up al-Assad in Syria. Remember that? When the people of Syria were revolting against Assad, who had blood under his fingernails, you know who kept him afloat? Iran, yes, but especially Russia. And then Assad got in trouble. And that's when he really needed Russia. And he went to Mr. Putin and said, "Help me, help me." And Mr. Putin said, "No, you're on your own. You can come to my country where they can't get to you, but that's it. Too bad, I don't need you anymore." I hope a lot's going on with respect to the Middle East right now, but I hope that the world notices what kind of friend Russia is. I hope other countries that Russia has alliances with, and that Russia is assiduously courting to be a, quote, partnership, notices how Russia reacts to their friends. Where's Russia? Where's Putin? All of a sudden you can't find him. Now I'm delighted with that. I'm just delighted. But this was very, very predictable. With friends like Russia, I say this to every country in the world that might be thinking about partnering with Russia. With friends like Russia, who needs enemies?